Good afternoon. My name is Joey Mack. I'm the executive director here at Chicago Blend, and just wanted to welcome all of you to our fall pitch day event, part of our Chicago Venture Fellows program. Many of you are already familiar with our work and who we are. We are a nonprofit organization focused on advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the venture industry. Our Chicago Venture Fellows program, which we launched earlier this year, is one way that we seek to drive change and equity in the venture ecosystem. This is a program, 4-month cohort program for underrepresented, aspiring VCs, and you're going to get to hear from our fall fellows who have been sourcing some great companies, which they'll be pitching to you. I just wanted to say a really big thanks to all of our program partners, including Get Cities, World Business Chicago, Teamworking by TechNexus, 1871, and Vitalize Angels. Thank you for your partnership, for your in-kind as well as financial support of the program. I also want to thank our foundational sponsors at CDW and Origin Ventures, and all of our Chicago Blend sponsors who make our work possible. Finally, I wanted to just acknowledge the many different VCs and ecosystem partners, as well as the great startups that we have who have dedicated so much of their time to making this a great program. And finally, just want to thank our 12 mentors from this cohort who have gone above and beyond to support our fellows on their journey. So now we're going to get right into the pitches. I'm delighted to welcome Salvador Dueñas, our fearless program manager here at Chicago Blend, who is going to kick us off. So Sal, take it away.
Sweet. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I have the great honor of working with these incredibly amazing fellows every week. Their backgrounds include anywhere from engineering and product to sales experts, CTOs, MBA students, and beyond. So I'm really excited for them to kind of introduce themselves to you all in the community and share a little bit about some of the startups that they got to talk to in the program. These fellows are tasked with networking and meeting founders, networking and meeting VCs, making introductions where appropriate and pitching them in hopes that these founders can get a check written. For the purposes of this conversation, they are going to showcase one startup that they met throughout this program. And hopefully all of you as VCs in the community or people that know VCs, hopefully they can fall under your investment thesis and maybe you can continue a conversation and hopefully be interested in maybe funding some of these startups. If that narrative doesn't really apply to you directly, these fellows have talked to countless other startups throughout this program. So there might be other startups that fit into your or somebody else's investment criteria. And we encourage all of you to continue the conversation, build a relationship with these fellows, get to know them, get to know their background, and get to know some of the other startups that they sourced throughout the program. So with that, we have 12 pitches that we're going to hear today. We're kind of hold the pitches up to like 5 minutes-ish. We'll ask the fellows to self-time themselves, but with that said, really excited for all of you to get to meet these amazing, talented, accomplished individuals and hear about some awesome companies that are currently being built. So thank you all for stopping by. I'm now going to pass it off to our brave first fellow that will be pitching, Sam Ramil. If you want to give me a thumbs up, there we go. Thumbs up that you're ready. Sweet. So Sam is currently an MBA student at Booth. Throughout his time in the Venture Fellows program, he's talked to 8 startups, and we're going to have a chance to hear from one of them. So Sam, if you're ready, feel free to kick it off.
Hi, everyone. First off, apologies. I'm traveling, so there might be some background noise. But again, my name is Sam Ramil. I'm excited to present Zero Circle today. But before I do, I'd like to give a brief overview of my background. I'm currently a second-year MBA student at Chicago Booth. Before Booth, my professional experience includes 2 years in tech investment banking and 4 years in the military, where I planned military communications networks. With that corporate finance and operational experience, academics at Chicago Booth, and the plethora of venture-related learnings and investor interactions through Chicago Blend, I've begun to think about the industrial, logistics, and supply chain spaces and trends that are happening there. A big problem today in the industrial sector is the climate impact and emissions from the supply chain. Supply chain emissions are on average 11.4 times higher than operational emissions, meaning over 90% of a company's emissions come from its supply chain. One way to mitigate this is through greater transparency and reporting for suppliers. However, the sustainability reporting and qualification of that reporting is complex, expensive, and manual. Organizations have to collaborate with their suppliers to become sustainable. However, while 96% of the top 250 global companies have the resources to provide sustainability reporting, less than 1% of private companies report on sustainability. To put that problem in dollars, Insight Partners and Acumen Research estimate the current global ESG software market size to be about $500 million, but is expected to grow at a 15% CAGR to between $1.5 to $2 billion over the next several years. Another way to look at that market is that there are 1.3 million small and medium-sized businesses in the US, and over 333 million small and medium-sized enterprises globally. So to tackle this problem, I'd like to introduce ZeroCircle, a New York-based AI-powered supplier network that simplifies the process for sustainability reporting. ZeroCircle's solution allows companies to easily upload documents to this platform. Then using AI, the platform collects and analyzes information to fill in the standard sustainability metrics that are unique to their specific industries, saving time, ensuring accuracy, and simplifying the traditionally manual process to input data. Using that extracted information, companies can then create organizational profiles based on their industry standard metrics. And then ZeroCircle allows companies to connect and link to the sustainability profiles of others in their supply chain. And this allows for insights, transparency, accountability, collaboration, and even discovery among supply chain partners. Because of the huge size and urgency of climate change, there are a number of startups that are developing similar solutions. But what sets ZeroCircle apart for me are a couple things. First is transparency. ZeroCircle provides end-to-end visibility, both upstream and downstream, and allows stakeholders to access real-time data. This network-driven approach can help companies demonstrate their commitment to sustainability and build trust with customers, suppliers, investors, and other partners. Second is the business model. ZeroCircle intends to employ a freemium B2B SaaS model. This could allow ZeroCircle to acquire companies quickly and then create a flywheel for network effects. Then, using different pricing levers, ZeroCircle can generate revenue based on the complexity of specific suppliers' businesses or their desire to showcase more information in their sustainability profiles. Third is the focus. ZeroCircle's platform is designed specifically for private mid-sized suppliers. The nature of the product educates these mid-sized suppliers on what sustainability metrics and regulations are relevant to their industry, and it even provides recommendations into industry certifications relevant for each supplier. The company is founded by Hemant Sethi, a fellow Chicago Booth MBA with an extensive background in product, software engineering, and supply chain solutions. Early in his career, he co-founded an international business where he doubled revenue. And most recently, he was at Dun & Bradstreet, where he launched the ESG rating solution for private companies. When I talked to him, he decided to launch ZeroCircle because he saw the gap in the tools and solutions for private mid-sized companies, as well as a gap in knowledge of the space in general. So far, he's launched the MVP with over 2,000 labels, 500 certifications, and 500 regulations. He currently has 1,000 suppliers on the platform and is in the midst of closing more pilots. To continue that traction, he's currently raising a $500,000 pre-seed round. So if you'd like to hear more or connect with him, please reach out. I'd be happy to put you in touch. Thank you very much for your time.
Love it. Thank you so much, Sam. During these pitches, we also have a short time for any Q&As, questions for Sam or about ZeroCircle Inc. While he's on the floor. So feel free, anyone want to jump in, unmute with any questions if you have any. All right. Okay, so with that, we'll do a virtual round of applause for Sam. Sam, thank you so much for being a brave first presenter and sharing more about ZeroCircle. Thank you so much. Guests, we will also be sharing information about all of these startups being pitched today after. We will share their stage industries, their round sizes, and some pitch decks and additional material prepared by the fellows. So you can expect that after the call. But Sam, thank you so much. Our next fellow we're going to have on deck is Jenn Kim. She is currently an account executive at Okta and has talked to 17 startups throughout the program. So we're excited for Jenn to come up here and share more about Allison. Jenn, thank you so much.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Jenn Kim, and I'm going to talk to you about a fintech SaaS startup called Allison. So let me first start out by giving a quick background of my area of expertise. I've spent the last 15 years of my career in a tech sales role, and the majority of that I've been selling enterprise SaaS. So working in the field, I've gained a really deep understanding of an organization's technology needs and pain points, and also identifying high growth revenue models. So I'm very excited to talk to you about Allison. Allison is a low-code SaaS platform that simplifies how applications integrate with banks. And there's 3 key reasons why I think Allison is a compelling investment. 1, how large of the problem that Allison is solving. 2, the long-term market opportunity for their core technology. And 3, their revenue model. So first, the problem, the pain from having to integrate applications. Let's start out with why Allison was started. So one of the founders was working on a fintech company that allows you to transfer money between Latin America and the US. When he was working on that app, the process to code the app to integrate with a bank cost millions of dollars and over a year of work. It was then that he realized that there's a bigger problem to solve in the modern banking industry and left to start Allison. So any fintech company that holds funds on for their users, think like Venmo, Robinhood, PayPal, they're required to have a banking license, which is obviously very expensive and it's difficult to get. Therefore, most fintech companies choose to integrate with a bank instead. But to integrate, you have to hire developers to code that integration, and that costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time. We're talking many months and hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. I also know firsthand how expensive and timely building application integrations are. The software I sell is known for our single sign-on product, which means we need to integrate with all the applications in your tech stack. One of the most common reasons I lose a deal is because while a company can afford to buy the licenses, they don't have the time or the money to set up all the integrations. With Allison, a fintech company can integrate with a bank in weeks and save a lot of money. Integrations are a huge pain point, and coding is a huge pain point. This is why low code, no code is one of the hottest buzzwords in SaaS. Next, let's talk about the long-term market opportunity for their core technology, virtual finance containers, which is patent pending. So when a fintech company integrates with the bank, let's say to handle money transfer, each customer in the fintech app needs to be created as a new account in the bank. This obviously takes up a lot of bandwidth. On the other hand, Allison creates a virtual finance container on behalf of the fintech company, and now each new customer of that app instead just sits under this master account. This saves a lot of time and money for everyone involved, as the setup and approval process is dramatically shortened. While their current go-to-market strategy is focused on fintech startups integrating with community banks, since a virtual finance container can hold money or anything of financial value, like data, there's a lot of use cases this can apply to, like the insurance industry or the healthcare industry. The number of use cases that would benefit from a low-code solution to streamline integration, approvals, and transfer something value is unlimited. Last, let's talk about the revenue model. So Allison is going to generate revenue from the fintech company and from the bank. The bank will be charged an annual fee and a per deposit fee, and the fintech company will be charged a monthly fee. By having 2 streams of revenue plus the per transaction fee, there's a huge opportunity here for rapid growth with the onboarding of new customers. So if you're interested in investing in Allison, they're currently raising their seed round of $800,000. They have $135,000 committed, and they currently received a term sheet for $500,000 that they're currently negotiating. Allison's going to be allocating the funding in 3 key areas: onboarding of new bank customers, onboarding of new fintech customers, and achieving SOC 2 compliance. Allison's ideal VC partner has a wide range of software experience and therefore would be able to help them scale their technology into industries outside of banking. If you're interested in learning more, please feel free to reach out. I'll be adding my email in the chat.
Great, thank you, Jenn. Any quick questions for Jenn or about Allison while we have her on deck? Okay. Well, Jen, thank you so much for your time. Great job as always. And please join me in giving her a virtual round of applause. Sweet. Thanks, Jen. All right, next up, we have Caroline Celis, the Senior Director of Global Business Development at G2. During her time in the program, she has talked to 22 startups, which is tied for the most in the program. So Caroline, thanks for stopping by.
I just want to say, Sal, that there was some last minute addition to that number, so it is not up to date. I'm up to 26. Let the record stay.
Okay, well, we'll have to talk to Mosea and see how many we're left.
I know we've been neck and neck.
Yeah, maybe the undisputed queen, potentially. So we'll check in on it. But thank you for the update.
Yes.
How are you feeling? You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right, I'll pass it to you and start the timer. Go ahead.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. As Sal mentioned, my name is Caroline Celis. I have been on the revenue team at G2 here in Chicago for almost 5 years. For those who don't know, G2, we're essentially like Yelp, but for software, and we monetize that business via a B2B data product. My role at G2 as our Senior Director of Global Business Development is to help lead the teams that intersect marketing and sales. So you can really think about it as tip of the spear, go-to-market strategy. I say all of that because I am very excited about the company I'm going to speak about today, because they are solving a pain that I see in my role every day, I feel in my role every day, and I know that countless other enterprise companies feel this too. I spoke to a lot of founders along the way in this fellowship, and sharing about Stack Moxie was a no-brainer to me. Immediately after meeting the founder, I even shared the information with our business systems manager at G2 with the memo. It was a Slack, like a frantic Slack. Mitch, we need this. How do we make it happen? So if nothing else, I'm pretty sure they'll have one more customer out of me and G2 because of this. So what is Stack Moxie? Stack Moxie is a no-code QA solution for revenue organizations tech stack. If you aren't familiar with QA solutions, but you've heard of companies like Datadog or New Relic, massively successful now public companies, what they do for developer operations, Stack Moxie does for revenue operations. What does that mean? Essentially, revenue orgs or sales orgs at large companies, software and otherwise, so just like the one I work in, tech stacks are getting more and more complex. All of this is in the name of promoting organizational efficiency. But because these tech stacks are getting more complex, things break. These different softwares, they don't play well together. An example that I would give you is something like HubSpot and Salesforce. It's really common for a company to overlap those two systems at some point in their tenure, but those two companies are competitors, so they don't play nice. So what does that lead to? Breakages. And worst of all, ones that go unnoticed and impact prospective customers. So imagine a lead comes in, regardless of what industry you work in, you know what a lead is. Lead comes in, it doesn't get routed to an inbound SDR whose job it is to follow up on that lead in a timely manner. That sounds minor until you realize that your marketing team has spent thousands of dollars on LinkedIn campaigns and Google ads to get that person in the door. And likely no one's going to notice that no one's following up until it's way too late, bringing your chance of converting that prospect essentially to zero. Another scenario we can imagine is that a lot of companies right now quite literally have a person whose full-time job or most of their full-time job is dedicated to catching these errors, but that's still a reactive approach. Stack Moxie acts as the safety net or safeguard, alerting your team of the breakage so that can get fixed within minutes, rather than getting noticed days or weeks later when you've essentially flushed go-to-market spend down the toilet. So before I get into some great stats that I think point to why Stack Moxie is worth investment, I want to make sure that we don't brush over what we just mentioned, because it's what really got me excited about this company. Those are two different scenarios, both the instance in which a lead that you've spent thousands of dollars on getting lost, or when you've dedicated an entire person's job to following up on tech stack breakages. Those are two different quantifiable ROI, dollars and cents reasons why someone would purchase this solution. And as the person who leads a go-to-market team and has sold a few different products, having a quantifiable ROI sale is huge. Having a good product and a quantifiable ROI sale together makes for an amazing go-to-market strategy, which is why I've been so excited about Stack Moxie from the start. So what are some stats as to why I think this is worthy of investment? First and foremost, at the helm, we have a 2-time SaaS founder with a previous successful exit that went on to IPO. She built a CRM prior to this. So this is the same persona she's selling to. She knows this wheelhouse. She knows these customers. 2, the customers that they currently have, absolutely love them. So I'm biased. My first stop is always g2.com. Let me see if they have any reviews. Moxie has not attempted to collect any reviews proactively, and they have 6 customers who went on the site and raved about them. Again, that easily quantifiable ROI sale for a great go-to-market strategy. In terms of traction, they have $600K in ARR right now and almost 2x year-over-year, 2x year-over-year growth. They have some amazing logos, Okta, Drift, CH Robinson, so really great traction in the enterprise space. With investment, they're looking to build out their product-led growth motion so that they convert folks without a sales touch, which is going to help them conquer the smaller employee segments like SMB and mid-market while keeping their CAC really low. And lastly, they were the #1 most anticipated Salesforce App Exchange solution. They received that award from the Salesforce App Exchange. So if you are a B2B SaaS investor looking for those multiples, I would love to connect you to this incredible founder. They're wrapping up a round right now, and they're looking for final investors to close the last million of a $3.5 million raise at a pre-money valuation of $17 million. So if you're interested in learning more about Moxie, I'd love to make an introduction or speak to you more about it. If this isn't your cup of tea, I have a couple more software startups that I'm really stoked on and would love to talk to you about. That's Moxie.
Love it. 25 more startups now that you could talk about.
Exactly.
There you go. Great job, Caroline. Anybody have any quick questions while she's on deck here? All right. It's okay if you don't. Definitely reach out and continue the conversation. Caroline, thank you so much. All right. Up next, we have Laura Gladfelter. She is an innovation strategist at a local healthcare service corporation and has talked to 11 startups by my last count throughout the program. Laura, how are you doing?
Good. I think that count might be up too.
Okay.
And apologies for my ghost-like appearance. I guess my strategy today is to haunt you guys into investing. But my computer broke. I'm in Florida visiting family, so I'm borrowing one from like the 1990s.
That is awesome. It's coming in great. Whenever you're ready, feel free to kick it off, and we'll get to it.
Thanks, Sal. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura. I currently work, as Sal mentioned, on an innovation team at a large health insurance company. And throughout my 4 years in the payer industry, I've met and evaluated hundreds of healthcare vendors. I've helped growth stage startups launch clinical pilots. And I work every week with my teammates to identify what new technologies and what trends are going to be shaping the future healthcare landscape. But my most unfortunate credential, and one that I likely share with a few of you, is that I was a caregiver for my mom when she became not only 1 in 8 women to get diagnosed with breast cancer, but one of the 1 in 4 women whose cancer comes back again after a lumpectomy. And that 1 in 4 stat is the stat that the startup I'm sharing today is fighting to change. So Clarix Imaging has developed an FDA-approved intraoperative imaging machine that uses new to market technology to depict cancerous tumors in 3D specimen isotropic radiography view. So let's put that in less clinical terms for you guys. And conveniently, as I said, I'm at my 3-year-old nephew's house in Florida, and he has an Epic toy box. So you get a kid-approved demo for me today. But pretend that this toy is a hard-boiled egg, and this white rind here is normal healthy tissue, and this yolk right here is the cancerous tissue. So when a surgeon performs a lumpectomy, they're taking out this normal tissue because you always want a negative margin around the tumor so that you're not leaving behind any of the cancer. And this is really hard to do when the imaging isn't clear. So that's why 20% of the 300,000 lumpectomies that are done today with current 2D imaging technology, they don't take out the full cancer. So the patient's often waiting for a whole month until their specimen processes in the pathology lab, and then they learn that they need a second surgery, and that surgery is often $16,000 and upwards. So not only is that, of course, traumatic to the patient, but it's creating additional treatment costs and just resource inefficiencies throughout the system. So why Clarix? Clarix uses the new 3D technology to give a 10 times higher resolution than what is currently in market. And Clarix turns it around in minutes while patients are still on their operating table. There's only one other imaging startup that's beginning to use this 3D technology in operating rooms, but they can only go 30 degrees around, not the full 360 degrees like Clarix does. And beyond Clarix's technology capabilities, I'm just really excited about their investment potential because of their robust clinical validation, their experienced team, and the overall market opportunity. So in terms of clinical validation, they've received FDA 510(k) clearance and obtained multiple patents for their imaging algorithms. Clarix has published multiple clinical studies, including a 200-case multi-center clinical study. They've received NIH grant funding, which from a payer perspective, I'm really excited about. It's really impressive. And the team, the Clarix founders, Dr. Han and Dr. Pan, are both former radiology professors at the University of Chicago. Together, they have 30 years of research experience and have over 150 peer-reviewed publications in medical imaging. They've also partnered with big medical companies such as Toshiba, Medtronic, and GE on building next-generation imaging systems. And last, the go-to-market opportunity. So Clarix has multiple revenue streams. They're selling their imaging hardware and software to hospitals. They also sell single-use disposable surgical specimen containers, and they provide annual equipment servicing for their machines. So the total addressable market for breast imaging is at $2 billion global, with 700 million of that from the US market. But the most exciting news is that breast cancer is just the first condition that Clarix in Clarix's go-to-market plan. Once they establish in breast cancer, they're planning to expand to other types of cancer, amounting to a $25 billion market opportunity. And they're also planning to expand globally, first to Canada in late 2023, followed by Western Europe in 2024. So I gave you the market numbers, but here are some of Clarix's numbers. They launched in April, and they already have 2 hospitals as clients and 20 plus demos set up with other hospitals. So they're tracking right now to $1 million in revenue this year and forecasting $7 million in revenue next year. So how do you get involved? Clarix is raising Series A, and they're seeking 30 million in funding that they're planning to use for manufacturing and R&D. Besides that investment, they'd also love to be connected with folks who have hospital relationships or speaking engagement opportunities. But please reach out to me if you want to learn more. I have my email here, there, and I'll provide my Candidly link in the chat. Thank you.
Sweet, thank you, Laura. And I think this is a first here at Chicago Blend with the use of an amazing visual aid in the form of a children's toy. So shout out to you for that. That's awesome. Any questions for Laura here while we have her up here? Okay, all right. So with that, let's give Laura a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us a Chicago Blend first. All right, next up, we have Shawn Park here on deck. Shawn, nice to see you. He is a Founders Team Associate for our friends at P33 Chicago and has talked to 14 startups during his time in the program. So Shawn, excited for you to introduce yourself and share more about the company you're pitching.
Hey, thanks, Al. Unfortunately, I don't have a demo to provide in terms of a visual, but would still love to, engage everyone in this company that I've talked to. So, as Sal mentioned, my name is Shawn. Today, I'm super excited to present to a company called C-Thru-AI, where founder Michael Diarra is targeting a $2.1 billion sized opportunity to modernize the enterprise governance and risk compliance space for financial institutions. To provide a bit of context to what we have these financial institutions like banks that are starting to heavily use AI and machine learning to construct models for things like fraud detection, loan assessment, and a bunch of other tasks. there are a bunch of government agencies out there that want to regulate this, right? There are proposed laws such as the Algorithmic Accountability Act released this year that aims to bring transparency and oversight to a lot of the software and algorithms that are used to make these automated decisions. And the point is that if you mess up these regulations, you're screwed. There's a bunch of fines that are upwards of millions of dollars, audits that are done, et cetera. And so banks and other institutions need to accurately document what they're doing with these models. And there's no real clear way to do this right now. Financial institutions are trusting their data scientists to document their work separately or remember what they did. It's like if you're back in college and you submitted a thesis for your work and your professor asks for your sources and you're like, oh shoot, like what did I do for this model? What did I do for this paragraph? It's the same idea where these laws are super complex and hard to understand. So it's very difficult to backtrack and think about like each thing you did to account for each law. Michael's solution with C-Thru-AI is a documentation and reporting platform that ensures that developers build AI models in compliance with these regulations. C-Thru-AI has a processing engine that takes in all these regulations from various agencies, and it translates that hard to understand language into simple machine learning operation steps that data scientists understand. The data scientists, they record what they did, attach any supporting documentation or models if necessary, and then they go on with the rest of their work. C-Thru-AI cleans up this information into a simple, easy to distribute report that companies can send to regulatory agencies. So going back to that school example, it's like a mix of Spark Notes and DocSend, where it takes that hard to understand literature, you understand what you need to do, what sources you need to write down, and then send it off to the agencies with no problem at all. So now that we know a little bit more about C-Thru-AI, I want to answer two pretty important questions of why this is a good investment and why am I personally qualified to talk about him. To answer the latter question first, my background is working with TechRise at P33, where we host weekly pitch competitions for underrepresented, early-stage Chicagoland founders. I've worked with at least 5 founders each TechRise week for the past 2 years, which is like reviewing their pitch, facilitating resources, going through their business models. And so I've had the privilege of seeing hundreds of companies of all different backgrounds and industry join our ecosystem and community. Our criteria for the competition judges and for the work that we do is essentially the same. How likely is the team to succeed in their vision, and how much impact will outside capital provide for the business? I think we've gotten pretty good at answering these questions, and Michael passes both metrics with flying colors. Michael himself is a Black founder with 10 years of experience working at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So he's got like that inside scoop of understanding regulation translation better than anyone. He also has 2 post-grad degrees in machine learning and AI from UChicago and Columbia University, and is currently getting his MBA at Booth. So he's got a really unique trifecta ultimatum of experience where he understands compliance, AI ML, and business all in one. Michael also really valuably knows what he's not. He's clearly delineated that there's this idea of compliance risk and technical risk. And C-Thru-AI doesn't touch any part of the technical risk or like data model assessment. This ensures that data scientists that are already comfortable with ingrained tools like Databricks or Kubernetes, they don't need to change how they do the work. They just need to add C-Thru-AI to their workflow process, almost like you're using spell check on Word, or you're just using like a citation machine to make sure that when you're writing your paper, you're having all your sources down pat. When it comes to like the funding side of things, that likelihood of funding, Michael's in a prime position to accelerate his process with outside capital. He's completed the C-Thru-AI by the end of this month, so he's nearly done, and he's looking for his first institutional round of funding through a pre-seed round to build out his core product by Q3 of 2023. I personally had a huge blast working with Michael through the Chicago Venture Fellows program. We met week over week, and he's just super engaging in terms of, explaining the work that he does and the targets that he has. He's had numerous introductory conversations with companies such as Plaid, such as HSBC and Amex. And as I continue to develop my venture capital knowledge and as he builds out his company, I just want to be an advocate for his growth. So whether it's because of investment interest or just a desire to give feedback, I'd love to hear from you all and continue this conversation. Thanks so much, everyone. And if there's any questions, happy to answer them too.
Love it. Thank you, Shawn. Any questions from the audience while we're here? Okay. Shawn, virtual round of applause, please. This was awesome. Thank you so much for your time and your pitch. Sweet. All right. Up next, we have Cecilia Fischer-Benitez, program manager at Latinas in Tech. During Cece's time here in this program, she's talked to 16 companies, and looking forward to hearing you pitch the top one. So I'll pass it to you, and we'll get it going.
Thank you. I don't know how everybody got a chance to talk to 26 people. That's ridiculous, but amazing, or over 26 people. Also, on a scale of 1 to my Apple Watch telling me to calm down how nervous I am, it's the second one. Anyway, hi everybody. It's great to be here with you all. My name is Cecilia Fischer-Benitez. I was born and raised in Mexico, and I moved to the US when I was about 11. I went to middle school, high school, and college in Illinois. I have a background in education and diversity, equity, and inclusion. In addition to being a venture fellow, I'm a program manager at Latinas in Tech, like Sal said. I consider myself to be a community builder. I've dedicated my work around diversity, equity, and inclusion. I've held roles in customer success, service, I guess, project management, program management, and community outreach. One of my greatest assets is being a community builder and a connector who actually creates impact. I am also a mom to almost 1-year-old twins, and I have firsthand experience in parenting and bilingual education desires for my children. With that said, I'm here to pitch a great pre-seed startup called Cuentologia. In English, we could translate that to story time, if you will. Cuentologia is a subscription-based, screen-free streaming platform of audio stories and podcasts for children. These are original stories co-created and endorsed by child psychologists that help children overcome today's daily challenges using a positive, disciplined approach. Cuentologia was born during the pandemic when one of the co-founders found herself struggling to find adequate support on how to support their kids, how to keep them entertained. I think a lot of us can relate. I wasn't a mom yet until recently, so I can't really relate to that. But anyway, so there was a lot of social issues that were surfacing during the pandemic that brought this to fruition. So their customers love them. Everybody endorses them. There are so many stories that are developed because of customer feedback and real parenting needs. Each audio story comes with a parental guide that informs parents of psychological theory and how to break down all these challenges from the story and reinforce that learning. In the United States alone, 1 in 6 children between the ages of 2 and 8 have a diagnosed mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder. So Cuentologia hopes to address these statistics by supporting the parents with the appropriate tools to support their emotional development and well-being. As a parent, I am very excited to have Cuentologia as an ally in raising my children in hopefully my native language as well as English. I am also in good company. There's an estimated 500 million Spanish-speaking folks in the world, and there is an increasing demand for both creators and consumers of Spanish language podcasts and content. Cuentologia is focusing in Latin America right now, but they're also tapping into the Hispanic market in the United States. The global market or global podcasting market was valued at 13.7 billion in 2021, and it is expected to grow at a CAGR, or compound annual growth rate, of 31.5% during the forecasted period of 2022 and 2030. Latin America is expected to have the highest CAGR throughout the projected period again. Cuentologia has had its first paying customers with the launch of an MVP, generating 7,300 in revenue late last year. The new app that was launched this August with a 4-month free period subscription had over 6,130 users. The free trial will end in December of this month, and they will start converting to paid subscriptions next month. They currently have over 400,000 minutes of children's listening and using their imagination, screenless. They have a strong influencer mom marketing strategy, including myself, that generates steady growth each month. If you visit their website, their Instagram accounts, you'll find dozens and dozens of mom and children reviews, which is my favorite part. In 2023, their goal is to reach 40,000 paying users by the end of 2023. So that hopefully will generate their first $1 million in revenue. They have ambitious goals of expanding their reach to other countries and implementing multiple languages in their platform, as well as AI technology to automate a creative marketplace for creative freelancers. And the co-founders are 2 sisters, both mothers, Fiorella and Ursula de la Sota. Fiore has worked in a multinational corporate marketing strategy for 15 years. Ursula has worked over 8 years in advertising and creative director roles. She has also worked in different cities in creative strategic networks across Lima, Peru, Santiago, Chile, Mexico City, and now Chicago, and she's actually here. They are joined by a team of over 80, a large team or small team. Over 80% of them are female and 60% of them are mothers. They are preparing to launch their pre-seed round of 500K in early 2023. So I'd be happy to connect anyone in the call with the team at Cuentologia, and thank you for all.
Yay, love it. Great job, Cece. Anyone here? Quick questions while we have her on deck? Okay. Cece, you also drew a crowd here today. Chat was blowing up for you. So that was fun. Thank you for sharing more about Cuentologia. Great work. All right. Okay, so we are around kind of like the halfway point. So just want to take this time to kind of just thank our awesome fellows for like all the amazing work you've done, and just thank you to all of our guests who stopped by to hear these pitches. We hope that you were able to add to your deal flow throughout these conversations, but if not, like please also like reach out to these awesome fellows who've done awesome work and are going to continue doing awesome work talking to founders and such. I think you'll, if you spend 30 minutes on a Zoom with them, I think you'll leave the call incredibly inspired. So please take some time to reach out and kind of just learn more. So with that, I want to kind of transition to the next half of our pitches. I created a little bit of controversy here today by telling y'all how many startups they've talked to, because we've had some last minute ads, and Mosea, I'm sad to say you've been dethroned. You are now, you're still podium, you're third place, bronze, but you've been, Caroline kind of snuck in a couple there, and Sosa, which we'll hear from later, took your spot.
As far as we know.
As far as we know, exactly. This is all just a ruse to get you guys to fill out the company tracker. It's all part of my master plan. So thanks for being cool about it. But anyway, Mosea here is a senior associate consultant at Tusk Holdings, is talked to the third most in the program of 22 startups. We're excited to hear about one of them today. So Mosea, thanks for hanging out, and excited to hear you pitch.
Hi, my name is Mosea Esaias, and as Sal mentioned, in addition to being a venture fellow, I'm a political and regulatory consultant for early stage tech companies. Basically, what this means is that I work with disruptive startups across industries and help them launch political campaigns to bring into new markets, build coalitions, and advance informed governance. But I'm not here today to discuss politics. I'm here to discuss something that, as supporters of Chicago Blend and Chicago Venture Fellowship, I know that we can all agree on: increasing access, expanding opportunity, and promoting proven impact, particularly within underserved communities. But as I'm sure you all know, unfortunately, we still have a long way to go in that regard, since there remains an alarming gap between access and opportunity in corporate America. But the Reach app is a metaverse platform that is trying to solve that problem. Reach is a workforce development and recruiting tool connecting top students with top companies, which solves two problems. First, high-performing under-resourced students, or hypers, are provided access to career resources and employment, which reduces economic inequality and creates a more meritocratic society. And secondly, companies are able to diversify their hiring pipelines with qualified candidates, which ultimately improves their bottom line, since human resources are foundational to any strong business. And companies know this. Businesses lose over $1 trillion every single year due to involuntary loss and turnover. Plus, the high school class of 2022 will lose out on $1 trillion in lifetime earnings due to lack of access to college and career opportunities. This is the multi-trillion-dollar talent problem, generating annual losses for both companies and promising young people. Fortunately, Reach knows how to solve this problem, and they've got the right team to lead the execution. Reach is backed by the Chicago Scholars Foundation, the largest education nonprofit in Chicago. I'm actually on the alumni board of this foundation, which is how I first heard of the project, and I can attest to their impact firsthand. Chicago Scholars has supported more than 5,000 high-performing under-resourced students in Chicago to achieve college and career outcomes at twice the rate of their peers, with 60% of scholars earning more than their parents did just after graduation. Their successful curriculum and intellectual property are the foundations of Reach. Plus, The CEO and the president of Chicago Scholars are the co-founders of Reach, and they've got a dedicated staff, the best of both worlds. Reach is not just a college recruiting platform. It is an immersive and interactive application built on proven curriculum. Reach users will be manager track talent. The team has undertaken a great amount of strategic diligence in the development of this app, leveraging research surveys and trial current students. Data shows that 80% of Gen Z identifies as gamers, and they spend 3 times more on video games than books. The metaverse video game component is about meeting students where they are and the platforms that they are engaging in every day. And they're partnering in the technical development with a vendor that is experienced in edtech game design with 22 million users. Now let's get into the numbers. Reach plans to operate in a subscription model, charging companies a $7,000 annual fee for all-inclusive access to top talent on the platform. With 10.75 million companies in America, that creates a total addressable market of $75.3 billion. The serviceable market is about $26.6 billion based on the target audience of 3.8 million companies with over 10 million in revenue and over 100 employees. And the obtainable market is about $533 million based on a 2% subscription rate. And then on the supply side, there are about 1.6 million high-performing under-resourced students that are serviceable at the platform every year. That equates to a supply-side serviceable market of 11.2 million students across the lifespan of the 7-year curriculum. This team is not starting from scratch, and they've already gotten significant traction. They launched a beta product last year and got a 90% adoption rate among students and their mentors for a total of 3,000 users. They also brought in $300,000 in internship placement fees from companies like Nike and Pepsi and posted over 300 jobs, all before the official launch. They've also got commitments from companies like Verizon for their upcoming product launch. And over the next 3 years, they're on track to acquire 150,000 users and $4 million in annual revenue. And in 10 years, they aim to achieve $1 billion in annual revenue. So these guys think big. Reach is aiming to raise $5 million over the next 3 years. This funding will be used to help support their go-to-market strategy, providing students with access to increased earnings and companies with access to valuable talent. Thank you.
Great stuff, Mosea. Any quick questions while we have Mosea here on deck? All right. Please join me in a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much, man. Cool. All right. Next up, we have Elina Kasman, Innovation and Commercialization Associate at Argonne National Laboratory. During her time here in this program, she's talked to 19 startups, and I'm looking forward to getting to hear about one of them today. Elina, how are we doing?
All right. Thank you, Sal. Thanks for the intro. So my name is Elina Kasman, and I would like to introduce you to Flow Medical. It is a medical device company that is creating a new standard of care for interventional pulmonary embolism treatment. We'll say that a few times more. They're currently raising $3 million in the seed round. But first, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am an engineer by training and by mindset, and I have dedicated over 20 years making impact in a variety of work environments, including early stage startup, manufacturing, academia, medical device research and development. I have supported product management with market analysis, ROI, due diligence, new product development, product launch, technology commercialization, and customer discovery. I am passionate about manufacturing, deep tech, and clean tech innovation. As for my place in venture capital, my goal is to get on a partner track in a VC firm. Quite a lofty goal. Now, I would like to introduce you to 2 medical doctors. Dr. Jonathan Paul, he's an interventional cardiologist, and Dr. Osman Ahmed, who is an interventional radiologist. They're both co-directors of the venous thrombosis and pulmonary embolism program at University of Chicago Medical Center. As clinicians, they are the experts in performing a procedure to treat pulmonary embolism, or for short, PE. So the next minute or so, we'll have technical medical terminology. Bear with me. PE, pulmonary embolism, is a blood clot in the patient's lung that is causing pressure to increase on their heart, making it difficult or impossible for them to breathe. So in the United States alone, there are 280,000 cases of PE every year. To treat PE, there is a minimally invasive procedure that is being used. It's called catheter-directed thrombolysis, CDT for short, which uses a medical device to get to the clot, infuse a very strong blood thinning medication to it, and resolve it over time. So these two doctors, as they're performing CDT procedures day in, day out, they were basically not satisfied with the tools available to them, having to use multiple devices to switch out during the procedure and having no feedback on the condition of the blood clot during the treatment. So the issue is that it can take between 2 and 24 hours to resolve the clot with this blood thinning medication. And there is no way to know exactly for each patient, so doctors have to guess or use some prescribed time. So Flow Medical was formed by these two doctors. They developed a new innovative catheter that allows to navigate, visualize, and infuse the medication using a single device. And most significantly, this device allows them to monitor the resolution of the blood clot in real time and make a decision when to stop the medication. So thus they provide individualized care for each patient. If the thing is that if the medication time during the treatment is too short, the clot will not fully be resolved. So it can lead to the clot still being there after the procedure. The patient would continue experiencing symptoms, and they may need further treatment and even have to get readmitted to the hospital. And in some cases, the medication infusion time is too long, and this could lead to bleeding complication and even stroke or death of the patient. So like bad things. And in summary, Flow Medical team developed a new medical device for treatment of pulmonary embolism, and they created a new standard of care, taking the guesswork out of the treatment, providing timely, personalized precision medicine, and collecting new data to potentially improve care even more over time. Now that we know a little bit more medical jargon and understand the impact on patient and treatment outcomes, let's talk about money. There is a significant market for these devices. To treat the 280,000 cases in the United States, it's a $1.2 billion market every year. Additionally, this device can be simplified, used to treat other conditions, and which would open up to a $3 billion market in the US annually. The team of Flow Medical has made significant progress already. They've secured $460,000 in non-dilutive funding, including SBIR Phase 1 award and George Schultz Innovation Fund. They used this money to complete 2 animal studies, demonstrated usability of the device, and de-risked the novel aspect of the design, and they also filed a patent. So all the important things. In order to bring this device to market, Flow Medical needs $3 million over the next 18 months to get to FDA approval. The team has identified a substantially equivalent predicate device, which means that there is no need to conduct clinical trials, and a submission of 510(k) will achieve FDA approval by second quarter of 2024. So this $3 million investment will be used for further product development, testing, regulatory aspects, and commercialization activities. As I mentioned previously, the team of Flow Medical is at the forefront of this development for this treatment. They are supported by a strong advisory board and are influential in the industry of pulmonary embolism treatment. They already heard from other clinicians in the field that this device is wanted and needed, and the market is ready for it. So perhaps a team, you or your firm can make it a reality. Refer to the slide deck. Contact me, and I'd be happy to introduce you to the team of Flow Medical.
Love it. Thank you, Elina. Any quick questions for her while we have her? Okay. All right. Thank you again, Elina. Awesome work. All right. Next up, we have Don Wilson, claims product lead at ClearCover. During his time in the program, Don's talked to 16 different companies. Don, thanks so much for stopping by. How are we feeling?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for everybody for being here and supporting the program.
All right. Well, I'll pass it to you. Feel free to get started whenever you're ready.
Cool. So a little bit about me. Don Wilson. I'm a product leader, which simply means I find problems that affect a lot of people and fix them. And so I have 2 JD Power Awards for Capital One's mobile app, and I've helped ClearCover raise over $300 million and grow 11x in the last 3 years. I'm married into an immigrant family, and that's helped me to help provide some perspectives that help me understand why the fintech that I'm about to talk to you about is about to grow a $58 billion industry by 10x. So let me give you a few facts about Fleri, which is spelled Fleri. I'll drop the information here in the chat. One, Sam, the founder, is a two-time founder with insurance experience, and he's already attracted unicorn and fintech talent. They're live in 5 markets: Ghana, Nigeria, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Gambia. In just 4 months, they've reached over 5,600 MRR without marketing. Families are saving 40%, leading to an average of 3 unsolicited referrals per family. They also have insane demand. When I last checked, they had over 16,800 people waiting on their wait list and growing. They've raised they're raising a $2 million safe, and they already have 70% committed. And let me tell you why that demand is so crazy. They have 3 problems that have combined to create sort of a perfect storm of opportunity for this company. The first problem is denial of service. If you've ever known anybody that's been injured while traveling, you'll probably know this reality to be true, that healthcare in most countries is pay or go away. Without the underlying constructs of insurance and credit in most countries, service providers simply deny service to those without the means to pay. In this situation, many avoid care and seek alternative treatments. The founder, in fact, lost his grandmother this way to an otherwise treatable illness. So the second reason is sending money. Immigrants send 85% of their disposable income home. And that's despite paying fees north of 7%, some as high as 26%. This is why last year alone, $600 billion was sent home. The third reason is only 20 cents of every dollar sent home goes towards its intended purpose. When you consider that 83% say that the number one reason they send money home is for medical expenses or emergency, it's clear why Fleri exists. So how do they solve this? Fleri created a marketplace that enables stateside sponsors to select and pay for care plans that cover their loved ones back home. This unlocks access to care at over 8,000 locations. It also allows these service providers to bill Fleri accounts directly. That provides a peace of mind for the sponsoring family members worlds away, but it also creates a mean sense of FOMO for those who hear about how others are receiving a service without pay. Now, I'm excited for 4 big reasons. One, I love the founder. He's humble, coachable, and he's one of the most resilient humans I've ever met. 2, they're approaching product market fit, as evidenced by the unsolicited referrals, high and growing waitlist demand. And this is without any marketing, referral programs, or other viral stimulants. I believe they have a path to create some pretty significant viral loops, and that hasn't happened yet. The third thing is the business model growth. Now, plans currently drive recurring revenue. They also serve as an anchor for direct billing at 2% per transaction. This encourages more proactive care behaviors, driving additional revenues. For example, one customer just paid over 3 times their monthly bill just in direct bill services for a single transaction. So think about this like credit cards. They remove friction at the point of purchase, which allows people to focus on the needs, what they need to get done. And the upside here is that that's just their first financial product. And then finally, market expansion. They're starting in Africa, but they're not going to stop there. They're moving to Asia, Latin America, and Europe. So here's what I need from you. Over the past year, I've helped this company pivot its architecture, streamline operations, and its go-to-market strategy. Now they have the best problem a startup can have. They have more demand that they can handle, and they need funding to scale and unlock borderless access to healthcare. I would love to introduce you to this founder, or even other companies that I mentored through Techstars Anywhere or Techstars Chicago. The other thing that I'd like to ask is, I'd love to talk to you all about opportunities to help your portfolio companies predictably hit their milestones while experimenting to unlock product potentials. My contact information is in the chat, and I'd love to entertain some questions around the product. Please don't be shy. I know everybody wants to hear the pitches, but I'd love to hear some questions.
Yeah, any questions for Don while we have them? All right. Well, if you do have some questions, Don is great enough to put his Calendly and stuff in the chat. So feel free to book some time and keep the conversation going. Don, thank you so much, man. Great work. All right. We have 3 pitches left, our final stretch of the call. We're going to start with Monika Razdan, an aspiring investor at Apollo Ventures. Monika, how are we doing?
I'm good, very nervous. Let's see how we can make it on that. But
all of you are nervous, and then you go and pitch for 5 minutes and you absolutely kill it. So must be a good sign.
let's see, hope for the best. Well, I don't have like Lawrence have like the image or the toy, but I do have like a picture. Oh, it is
yes,
the cute packaging of my startup, Flora. But yeah, let's start it. So as good?
Yes, I got the timer ready. Feel free to kick it off.
Got it. As Sal mentioned, I'm Monika Razdan, Chicago Blend Venture Fellow and an analyst at the Apollo Ventures, where I've been working since last year. Working with VC field, I am always inspired and seeing different startups every day. I personally believe startups can create massive impact with cutting edge technology and have great potential to develop a better future. Last year, I graduated from Illinois Tech with a master's in marketing analytics. I'm also a founder of a mental health startup called Mental Polarites, but I'm not talking about mental polarites today. So I am here. Today, I will be pitching a Chicago-based startup called Flora. Flora was launched in summer of 2021 by founder Arbesh. I have worked with Arbesh closely and his team throughout the investment process, as they recently joined the Apollo Ventures portfolio. Why Flora? In recent time, more and more people have been adapting plants. In fact, half of Americans own at least one plant. And that number has been rapidly growing with 18% rise in demand during pandemic. But people still struggle with taking proper care of plants, where different plant species require different type of care and different specialized water needs. After killing his mom's favorite rosebush plants and among many others, just like me, Flora's founder Arbesh was motivated to build something to help him and people like me to be a proud plant parents. So what is Flora? Flora is a mobile app with a smart sensor that offers real-time impact to help consumer take care of plants. It takes out the guesswork by plant care by setting benchmarks and customized alert for specific plant species. Flora provides a plant care ecosystem pairing with mobile app subscription for both iOS and Android users with a hardware called FloraPod. They also provide a virtual community or community garden for their plant parents. Flora is also one of the only plant caring apps that provides green impact tracker, which means they allow their user to measure plant carbon offsets. So far, they have captured more than 20 metrics of carbon emission offsets. So what's currently their Flora has 3,300 plus active paid subscribers. They generate revenues in 2 different streams. hardware with features like customized alerts, 3+ month of battery lifetime, one pot that can be used in different plants, and a waterproof hardware, which for both your indoor and outdoor plants. On software revenue, they have 3 different streams side, which is yearly, monthly, and a 6-month of bundle plan called Flora Plus. On competitor side, well, the entry point for US house plant market, it's about 6.5 billion, whereas global house plant market is about 42.5 billion, huge number. While I was conducting my prime research and evaluating companies' competitor, I did discover that most of the technology is software-based or iCloud-based with some specific subscription rates, or there are some solutions that are only hardware-based. So what distinguishes Flora from other is the integration of its software and hardware model. On growth side, Flora is being backed by Chicago's 2 local VC firms like Longjump and Apollo Ventures. But that's not the only reason I vouch for Flora. Flora has incredible growth opportunity with the track record, which says it all. Ever since they have launched, Flora has seen incredible increase in their MOM by 40% for over 130,000 users. Currently, they have 3,300 active paid subscribers. They have 150K in ARR, successfully deployed their first 100 Flora pods. They have claimed 40+ multiple patents across the value chain, and their recent success for Kickstarter, which exceeded its target by 540% of initial goal, which was only 10,000, validating its market needs. On fundraising side, Flora is raising 2 million seed round to scale its profitable paid user acquisition, expand its hardware for retail distribution, and build a full-time team. For us, well, founder is looking for 2 major asks. First, he's looking for any connection in early stage angels or seed funds. And second, for advisors that can help him in specific areas like consumer tech, consumer SaaS, and hardware. So that's Flora. I know you guys are thinking about what this QR code is all about, but that is just, if you scan, you can find all the links, but I will be also sharing in chat. Feel free to ask any question. Happy to answer them. Thank you.
Love it. Thank you, Monika. Any questions for her while she's up here? Okay. Gotta ask, just in case. Monika, thank you so much. Great work.
Thank you.
All right. Up next, we have Sosa Osaghae, arts and technology investor at MHub, and our new king of scouting as of earlier today. 28 startups you've talked to during the course of this program. Great work, Sosa. Excited to hear about the one you chose for today.
Sorry, Caroline, about the L you had to take right there.
Fourth quarter comeback. It was great. All right, man. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm pretty ready.
Okay. All right, you go for it.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Eseosa Osaghae. I am an arts and technology investor, but most importantly, outside of that, I focus on hardware tech and consumer products. So I've built different companies' products from the ground up over the last 5 years through MHub Chicago and various makerspaces in Chicago. But I'm going to bring to you a company that kind of merges both of the things that I like. So I'm a big fan of luxury, fashion, arts, and all that kind of stuff, but I'm also a big fan of electronics and consumer grade products that actually work. So I remember it when I first came to Chicago Blend, Joey was like, oh, like, I really appreciate your style. And then Sal was like, oh, I really love your rings that you have on here. So I want to make sure that I'm pitching something that's very authentic to myself. So I'm going to be pitching to you a startup that is from a friend and associate of mine who is from MHub Chicago. So Ganance products is, just picture this. You're a working professional and you love your Rolexes, you love your like really cool Cartier watches, but you don't have the smart data that you can get with an Apple Watch. So what did they do? They created a small platform, a small device that allows you to attach to your Cartier or your Rolex and gives you health data. And it allows you to track all of those steps that you want to have on your Apple Watch. So think about your Fitbit, your Apple Watch, all of those different type of data aggregators. With this Ganance product, you could just put this on a slip and then boom, you're good to go. You don't sacrifice luxury, you don't sacrifice look, because personally, I don't like the look of Apple Watches, but they're very functional. And so what they're trying to do is target a specific user base, specifically young professionals, specifically young women who have, certain style and certain elegance to how they're moving in this professional world. So we want to make sure that they are in a situation doesn't compromise their data, their health, and their lifestyle, and their flawless looks. So also, you have to think about this. When it comes to product market and marketing and product development, my experience allows me to understand how long it takes to get a product off the ground. They've already done all the legwork of prototyping and building the actual MVP. And so they have done that, and now they're ready to launch pretty soon. So I've seen Alex, build this product from ground zero. I've seen it at MHub. It took him about a year of trial and error, and now they have a solid, simple solution that will allow them to integrate with Apple Watch data, Fitbit data, all different types of smartphone data. And so what they're looking to do pretty soon is to go to market. And right now, they're focused on a round of 250K with a cap at 750K. And currently, they've already raised 150K. So there clearly are people who are invested in the product, invested in the vision, and he has the prerequisite skills, talent, and accelerator program to help him grow this company to the next level. Outside of those things that I'm just mentioning there, Alex himself, Alex Ocampo, he was an ex-IBM product manager. So he understands how to take a product from ground zero through larger corporate sponsorship and larger corporate context. And then MHub Chicago is, if anyone does not know, a great accelerator program that helps hardware tech companies get off the ground and showcase all of their cool innovations and everything they want to do for the future. So with that being said, I would like to thank everybody for allowing me to speak about this company. I'd love to thank everyone here at Chicago Blend and all the venture fellows for a great time. And yeah, if you have any questions, please come talk to me outside of this.
So when we met, you inspired me to step up like my ring game. And now here at the end of this program, you are inspiring me to step up my watch game. So thank you for all of the encouragement throughout the course of the program. This was great stuff.
No problem.
Any questions for Sosa about Ganance or anything else while we have him up here? All right. Sosa, thank you so much, man. Great work. All right. Up next, we have Helom Berhane, the CTO at Dentology, and will be closing us out today as our final pitch. Helom, thank you so much for hanging in there and closing us out. How are we feeling?
Feeling good, ready to go.
Love it. All right. Well, I have the timer ready for you. Feel free to start whenever you're ready.
Sure. Hi, I'm Helom Berhane. I'm the fractional CTO and former head of technology at Dentology. Dentology is a concierge dental practice where you can do everything from your mobile app or browser. Over the past 3 years, I've led engineering and product development and helped them secure over 30 million in funding earlier this year. If it helps, you can think of us as a One Medical or Carbon Health, but just for dentistry. I began developing my investment thesis as an intern this summer at Harlem Capital, where I specifically sourced diverse founders in the health tech, Web3, and fintech space. Thankfully, through the Blend program, I've been able to really develop my thesis and help get connected to a company I'm here to talk to you about today called Lumnis. Lumnis is a simple API for complex AI-driven analysis for crypto traders. So imagine if you're a quantitative trader at a D.E. Shaw, Jane Street, or J.P. Morgan, you can use, you use a number of software in your day-to-day work from companies like Bloomberg or Morningstar to derive whatever data or insights you need to trade effectively. Lumnis provides similar software in the form of a simple API where you can input complex strategies you want to test and whatever exchanges or currencies you're looking to track, and it returns this data in a simple and interoperable format that you could use in any software application. They currently support the top 15 cryptocurrencies by market cap and hope to expand to stocks and other financial instruments soon. So for example, using just a couple of lines of code, like the kind I just put in the chat, using just these 2 lines of code, you can perform complex analysis like this volume synchronous probability of informed trading, or VPIN for short, which is just a fancy way of measuring order flow volatility of an asset. So maybe you could have used a strategy like this to analyze the crypto markets over the past several months and could have identified apparent increased patterns of volatility for your asset. So you could, sell them ahead of time or trade them for less volatile assets to avoid some of the more recent disasters we've seen in the market. I'm also going to share a bit of documentation from their website as well. And this shows over a dozen different strategies that they've developed that you can actually use today. So normally the infrastructure to perform this type of analysis could take months to build, an entire team of engineers, not to mention thousands or hundreds of thousands in monthly IT costs. But by using Lumnis's pre-boxed AI models, which are trained on a combination of historical and live exchange data, they can start performing this analysis across dozens of different assets, exchanges, and databases immediately. The problem is that large hedge funds want to keep this knowledge in-house, so they end up developing a lot of these systems internally on their own. But smaller trading firms and family offices can't invest in the financial or human resources to build out these types of systems. So Lumnis is targeting these small trading firms and retail investors who want more sophisticated tools to deal with their portfolio. There are roughly 250,000 of these quantitative traders and developers who manage up to an estimated 10 billion in cryptocurrencies and nearly $1 trillion in total assets across these types of firms. In the same sense, you might have a Netflix, HBO, Max subscription and a Hulu subscription. Traders at these firms pay for a combination of services and software in the range of $300 to $500 per user per month to perform their jobs and basically, give them the data to kind of execute. And a lot of times the firms themselves cover this cost. So they would treat Lumnis just like any other software subscription service and pay them a similar rate to help give them the data that they need to execute, daily. So Lumnis was actually started by Abu Bakr J, who is currently a master's student in computer science and machine learning at Brown University. He recently graduated from the University of Illinois with a degree in computer science and economics, where he also worked as an AI and data science researcher at J.P. Morgan. He currently performs AI research at Amazon, where he is a Day One Fellow, which is a prestigious award given to exceptional diverse researchers in the field of AI. He formulated this idea after teaching friends in his home country of the Gambia how to start investing and trading online using software like this. He combined that passion with his job at JP Morgan to figure out how to give everyday traders access to much more sophisticated trading software, just like the kind he would use at work. So they spent the past summer in the iVenture Accelerator program at the University of Illinois, where they helped develop and release kind of their beta product, and currently have several customers, including a crypto trading firm in New York called Nema Capital, and the University of Illinois' Geese Disruption Lab, where their software is being used to conduct real trades and perform institutional research. They're looking for $800,000 in seed funding that will help cover mainly new engineering hires, sales reps, and also financial licenses for up to 2 years of runway. Outside of funding, they're looking for any connections to hedge funds or any quantitative trading funds, especially if they're dealing in cryptocurrency, who may be interested in testing or using their software. So I'm happy to share my contact info and would love to connect with you all to tell you more about Lumnis. So thank you for your time.
Love it. Thanks, Helom. Any last minute questions here for our final presenter for Helom or Lumnis? Okay. All right. Great job, Helom. Thank you so much for closing us out. There you have it, folks. We heard from 12 amazing fellows and heard about 12 different companies, but according to our company tracker here, these fellows have talked to over 200 during the course of the program. So I definitely encourage all of you to reach out to these amazing, talented individuals, book some time with them, get to know them. I think you'll find that they can provide a lot of value scouting or for your portfolio companies, as they all have like amazing different backgrounds and different skill sets and stuff. So I just want to thank all of you, all of our guests today for stopping by, hearing these amazing pitches, being such amazing supporters of Chicago Blend. This has honestly been like just such a fun experience working with these fellows, working with all of you to mentor them, speak with them, go to attend virtual networking events, in-person networking events. It's been a joy. I know the fellows here really appreciate it. I do have to do at least one plug. We are currently recruiting for the next round of fellows, which is very sad. I'm sorry, fall fellows, but it is happening. Joey and I will plug you in and keep you involved. But Joey just put a link in the chat to help share the application. Currently conducting interviews right now before the holidays and after the holidays for the new group. So if you're inspired by this programming, if you have somebody in mind that you think would be a good fit, please send them our way. But with that, please join me in just like a virtual round of applause. If you want to unmute and clap and snap and just thank these amazing fellows for all the cool work that they've been doing. This was just such a great experience and honestly just like a really fun time. So thank you all.